Okay, so today I just want to make a very quick video on something I think is a very underutilized tool of the human species, and that tool is listening. So I don't know how much time people out there have spent on thinking about listening or even practicing listening, but it is something that I think has a lot of weight. There's some good sayings out there. I'll let you know one of those in a second. But I think the first way to help people relate to it, if you haven't thought about it in the past, is generally, and this doesn't work all the time, but it does generally work. If you notice, people a lot of the time, the loudest person in the room generally has the least amount to say. And I don't just mean words, I mean content, the actual meat of what they're talking about. It's generally a lot of loud, imposing, kind of fluffy talk, and there's not really a lot of depth to it, not really a lot of meaning. And you'll find that if you look around, if you haven't in the past, have a look around you and see if you don't notice that, because it does generally ring true. Um, Listening is very important. Listening gives you a lot. It lets you learn a lot. It saves you from a lot. It saves you from saying a lot of dumb things that you might not have thought out very well. But you can learn a lot from different people in different situations just by sitting there and being quiet. They say silence is golden. The other good saying that I like, a quote, is simply, "The fool speaks, the wise man listens." And I think that that says a lot just in that simple little sentence, because there's a lot to learn from a lot of different people. Even the dumb guy yelling and making a fool out of himself, pretending like he's got a lot to say. There's something to be learned there as well. If you just sit sometimes, instead of always concentrating on what the next thing you're going to say is, if you just sit and try and absorb and promise yourself that you're not gonna butt in. You just want to analyze and really soak up what the person you're talking to is saying. It's a very powerful thing. It's something I'm not perfect by any means. It's something that I struggle with as well. It's very easy to sit there and think, oh yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna retort to that. I'm gonna say this. But you do really find a satisfaction when you just kind of sit back and think for a second, like, whoa, yeah. And if I also had a good advice one time from a good friend of mine, and I think I'll end on that. And that advice was pretty simple. It was, if the thing that you're thinking of saying while the person you're listening to is speaking, if you lose that, a lot of people don't want to lose that little thought, and they want to say it as fast as possible. But what my friend told me, he said, if you lose that, if that thing leaves your head while that other person is talking, then it probably, not definitely, but probably wasn't important enough anyway in the first place. And I think that's a good way to close it. So, as always, let me know what you think about it, and yeah, hopefully that's something good to think about for people out there.